Okay.
Well, it's not what you think. Hi, my topic's the truth behind conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories.
No, I'm not gonna talk about so, the reason why I did this is because a lot of you were giving me, a lot of, talk about how conspiracy theories are a bad topic. So, all of you were thinking oh, never mind. Can I go back?
Yeah, on the keyboard.
Oh, okay. Haha. So, I mean, a lot of you were talking about how, people like these who discredit everything and, say everything's a conspiracy theory and, don't believe things, and then look back at, everything is like, oh, well, media is our worst nightmare and it's our enemy, and, so I wanted to just talk about that today. And, so a lot of you, when they're thinking of conspiracy theories, are thinking of clans and UFOs and all that. And so instead, I just want to talk about conspiracy theories that actually have come true and events where the government has lied to us and or people have lied to the general population. And so my first event. Actually, I want to define conspiracy theories. So it's an accusation that a group or organization has polluted to cause or cover up an event or phenomenon. So it's just basically people lying to you. And yeah, so the Gulf of Tonkin was an event where the news and government said that 2 American battleships attacked Vietnamese warships on the Gulf of Tonkin, and so this is the Gulf of Tonkin. It's kind of a beautiful place. It's in Vietnam, and so basically this never actually happened, and it's the main reason why we went into the Vietnam War after JFK died. So after the government lied to us about this, and they told us 20 years later that this wasn't an actual event. So in 1985. So that can be kind of a sign that it's not a good, the government isn't a trustworthy, trustworthy source. Another event was the 1919 World Series scandal, and so basically the White Sox, which are Black Sox for this, called Black Sox for this, were a group of individuals, players that lied to the public about throwing a World Series for money. And so this is just a video on, I don't know if I can, no, I can't.
You can just
Nope. If I can.
Press it and hold it and then it will open up.
Use the mouse.
It should.
Where's the mouse? Can you just right click it and then hyperlink?
The years preceding 1919 were full of change. Prohibition began to pick up speed along with women's rights movements. World War I ended, and the Spanish influenza peaked, killing 500,000 in the U.S. alone. Racial tensions grew, and gangsters and mobsters overtook the scene. In an attempt to escape from this terrible reality, American attendance at baseball games doubled, making baseball the American pastime. Americans look forward to 1919, a year of hope, change, and prosperity. At least, that's what they were hoping for. But a great letdown would occur in a most unexpected place.
The 1919 World Series. 2 best baseball teams in the U.S. fighting for the pennant, the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago White Sox. the White Sox were favored 5-1 against the Reds. They lost. Baseball fans across the nation were left scratching their heads, asking, how could this happen? The 1919 Chicago White Sox, the only baseball team in history to fix the World Series. Pitcher Arnold "Chick" Gandil proposed the idea to the other players, including pitchers Claude "Lefty" Williams and Eddie Cicotti, infielders Buck Weaver and Charles Risberg, outfielder Oscar "Happy" Felch, Fred McMullen, and of course, the great Joe Jackson. The team demonstrated great athletic ability, but lacked in teamwork. They were also the poorest team wealth-wise in the entire league. The team's club owner, Mr. Comiskey, paid them terribly and refused to wash their uniforms, which, despite popular belief, is how they received the nickname the Black Sox. The World Series would be played as a best-of-9 games. Attendance records were reaching an all-time high in ballparks across the nation. It would come to generate 50% more revenue than any other series to date. Gandil determined if someone could somehow control this money, they would be rich. New York gangster Arnold Rothstein would become the power behind the fix. He provided the finances with his messenger, world featherweight champion Abe Attell. All men were accused of fixing the series. All of them were acquitted by the jury. Jackson and Cicotti were the only two that confessed before the grand jury. After the scandal, the structure of baseball was completely changed. New rules required baseballs be changed often, keeping them clean and easy to see. They also created a higher round ball so that they wouldn't warp during play. In addition to that, they also replaced the 3-man commission with 1 man, a federal judge, Kenshaw Mountain Landis, supplying him with dictatorial powers. In an attempt to restore the public's faith in the game, Landis banned all 8 players from baseball for life. But that didn't stop Joe Jackson from playing the game he loved. The fate of Jackson is still disputed. He remains on the ineligible list, but holds one of the nation's highest batting averages. He cannot be admitted to the Hall of Fame until removed from this list. Once again, Chicago tradition reigned true. The scandal involved crooked politicians, mobsters, and gamblers, which remain today. But underneath it all, Chicago maintains an idea of hope that eventually good will come. And though the citizens of Chicago in 1919 were let down by their heroes, they still came back in support for their team, which paid off in 2005 when the White Sox won the World Series, lifting the Black Sox curse off of their shoulders. Finally.
So these 8 guys can never play baseball, or could never play baseball again, and basically it's just a shame for the public that when they found out about this, baseball was changed forever. And so it's just like a thought to think that conspiracy theories could be like actual public events. Anything can be covered by the topic of conspiracy theories. And so over time, there's been many other events, and one of the biggest events that probably everyone in this room knows about, studying history, is Watergate. And so all of you probably know the details, but in June 17th, 1972, burglars were caught in the Watergate Hotel in the Democratic National Committee office, and they were all, they all went to jail. All of them were caught for robbery. But there was a huge black flag waved by these 2 reporters, Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward, who were basically they were reporters for the Washington Post, and they had a hunch that this had to do with Nixon's campaign and how he wanted to be reelected. And so they researched this, and they finally came out with their huge journal article about the Watergate scandal and how Nixon's plot to be reelected was scandal. And so these 2 guys became absolute modern day heroes in the journalism world. And everybody knows their name. If you're gonna be a journalist, you basically bring the UN. It was the story of the century for anybody. And so, although they were heroes and they had a lot of evidence and they were absolutely great about what they did, they were conspiracy theorists. I mean, they are the definition of conspiracy theorists. So, like a detective or any historian, they collected the data that they needed to come up with a verdict, and they took down a president. So it just shows the power that you have over the government. And so conspiracy theorists today might receive a lot of slack from people saying they're crazy, but they're just modern day journalists or modern day Woodward and Bernsteins.